Log into gyroscopeme.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning, there was Jack, and Jack had a groove. And after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he was looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories, and he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ Dan Soulful House Station, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. This is Soulful House Nation. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got another one. Wait till you see who our guest is. Oh, my goodness. Well, a quick overview. Once you go back and check out last week's show, we had DJ Antonio. And he's a Pattersonian, a fellow Pattersonian, P-Town, Silk City, whatever you want to call it. And he is working very hard to help bring this whole house music thing back to Patterson, where it belongs. And, hey, as a fellow Pattersonian, we go to events all out of town, and now it's exciting because we're doing it home. So listen, go back and check that out. Then here's what we're going to do. We're going to do today, we're going to do a quick recap, which we just did. We're going to play the hottest song according to Track Source in the Soulful House category. We're going to talk about some upcoming news, some news and stuff like that. And then after that, we're going to play a classic. And then what we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is John Murray. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you why this is super important. Okay. His history goes back to the beginning of, you're talking about club music, we're talking about house music, Coffee Cape, all that kind of stuff. Plus, he's currently doing incredible things. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of little stuff here, and then we're going to get into some of the other stuff here. Now, one thing I want to tell you is that I always want to thank Chuck Roberts, who did our intro drop. Also, King T Finesse and Ariel Shante, who did our theme song. So with that said, Chuck, play a snippet of the number one song according to Track Source. That's Richard Earnshaw, Next Phase, Helen Bruner, and Terry Jones, called I Ain't Got Time. And as usual, we're only going to play a snippet because Fig with his nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Chuck, let's go. All right, folks, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming back to you. Hey, listen, folks, what a crazy, and I mean that in a good way, weekend. This weekend, okay, so first of all, what I really loved about this weekend is on the 4th of July, I got a chance to sleep late. Let me tell you something. Sleeping late is one of the joys in life that you don't think about it until you've been running, ripping and running, and then you get a chance to sleep in. Oh, I got to tell you something. That's wonderful. I got to plan that more often instead of wait till holidays come before I do that. So then on the 5th, I DJ'd. I had a great time down at the Mays and Mets in Patterson. And we had quite a few people come out. We had some fun. Matter of fact, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Harold Anthony Williams because, unbeknownst to me, he made a video of the thing. And he did, took some clips. And when I saw him working with the camera, I wasn't really getting what he was doing. But when I saw the video, oh my goodness, it was incredible. So check it out. Check out the video also that he made. Give you an idea. Okay, next thing. On the 6th, hey, Naeem had a birthday party, and I need to tell you, like they have so much class with the way they do things. I like to say, like, they're Gucci clean. I'm Sears clean, if you follow what I'm trying to say. I mean, they really know how to throw an event. Everything was organized. Everything was well. Everything went well. It just was a great time. Also, too, it was a time to reconnect with people. Plus, food came with it. It just was a good thing. And, hey, congratulations and huge shout-outs to Naeem and Hope. And I just want to let you know, if you want to do it again next week, I'm there. Okay. Next. Then this Sunday, DJ Antonio and Robert Andrews kicked off their first event in Patterson. I was very happy. It's a place, 181 Straight Street in Patterson, the Oasis. I need to tell you, it is like an oasis in the desert. I mean, the way they did that place up, is really, 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 and keep going nice. I did a really nice job. Plus, of course, they already got the dope talents, and they put that work in. So that went well, and I had a chance to reconnect with some people that I hadn't seen in a while. So that was good. So shout out to DJ Antonio and Robert Andrews, and hopefully you're going to do some more of those events. Today, as you know, our special guest is John Murray. And then what's happening, on the rest of the month, you have July 13th, you have Warren Ankle Park. And for those who are going to Chicago, you have The Chosen Few. And then next week, we have DJ Jello. And then the following week, we have DJ Jello is a longtime DJ from the scene. And especially like old school cats are going to know who he is. And we're going to talk with him about, back in the day, but also to today. Then we have on the 22nd, we have Gerald Roney. Gerald Roney was the architect behind Zanzibar, Brokers, and places like that. So it's going to really, really be interesting to have him on, because he's not only talk about it from the standpoint of the club, but also, too, as a business person, how to able to make that thing go. And then, of course, the 27th is Lincoln Park. So that kind of some of the stuff that's happening. Hey, also, too, just want to let you know on some new music tip. Aaron K. Gray has a new album out. We're going to play one of the tracks again from it today. And that's L. Smith has a new track out called Black Butterfly. I mean, so like a lot of stuff going on. So, Chuck, what we want to do, we just want to play a little bit of the old school song. And then after that, we're going to go into the heart of the show, which is our special guest, John Murray. Chuck?
Release yourself.
All right, folks. All right, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we only play a snippet because Facebook has this nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting out. And ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, John Murray, is here. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Dan. How you doing?
Great. Now, as I was saying before, hey, listen, folks, share. This is going to be a powerful interview because you're talking about a person who has serious history and has been an integral part of the scene, club and house music scene, from back in the day, and now he's doing this thing again. So I was lucky enough to catch up with him, and I was lucky enough to have him agree to come on the show. And the other thing I would tell you is I heard about him for years, and I heard about what he did for years. And then to actually meet him is real joy and a pleasure for me. So just so you know, you can check us out now. We're on of course, we're on Facebook. Please share. We're on Vimeo. We're on YouTube. We're on X. We're on Twitch. And we're a whole bunch of other places. So you can catch us in a lot of different ways. Folks, share. Delia, how you doing? Okay, so John, let's start with the easy stuff. Just tell us a little bit about you. So for the people who haven't had a chance to meet you, talk to us a little bit.
Hey, thank you, Dan. Well, I'll go back. I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
Moved to Jersey in about 2007.
Mm-hmm.
My career growing up was in financial sales.
Oh, okay.
Investments.
Mm-hmm.
I got tired of doing that.
Okay.
Having a gun to your head every month, trying to meet a commission or trying to meet a draw, or trying to,
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I said, let me do something that I really enjoy doing. And my original concept was to come to Newark and try to get into the real estate market a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then the market was going really bad at that point. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
Okay.
But I was walking down Halsey Street one day and I saw this nice, cute little spot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was nothing like what it became, but I had the vision to see what it could become.
Mm-hmm.
45 Halsey Street. So, I did that. Started the Coffee Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Did that for a bit of years.
Mm-hmm.
did another spot on Mount Pleasant Avenue called The Cage, which was really underground spot. It was a raw warehouse. And some of the guests who may have been able to come out and experience it, it was a vibe all its own, if anybody could attest to that. And from there, I took a little hiatus. I'm still in New York. I haven't left New York, but I became more of a family man. You know what I mean? I had 2 children.
Okay. That'll make you
that's
family.
what I've really been busy doing the last chunk of years.
Wow.
And
So
since then, I said, I got to get back out there. I'm getting baby brain. I don't want to have baby brain the rest of my life, so I got active again.
wow. Like, who were some of your like earlier influences? Some of the people that had an impact on you in terms of, because you obviously went into the music direction. What were some of the influences?
Well, I mean, I guess the first time I ever saw a turntable was like in the 70s. It was like a dual turntable.
Oh, okay.
My father had.
DUAL. I remember.
Yeah, DUAL. Then later on, my brothers did a couple of parties in the church we went to.
Okay.
Really informal, but he had 2 turntables and a mixer. And he had like, Chic Freak, La Freak. So
Oh, okay.
I was like probably mad young, but at the same time, I was like back queuing 1, 2 off Freak Out.
Okay.
1,000 times, you know what I mean? So I guess that's where I got my feet wet. And then when I was 14, I got my own set of turntables and my own set of gear. That was like in 1984.
Okay.
And I used to go to like, I was born in the Bronx, so like every street corner, every little mini park or triangle park next to the highway, they had like the power plugged into the street light, and there was some type of jam or activity going on. So it was just part of the culture, and it was like all these types of music coming together at the same time. Very diverse mix.
Right.
And there was so much going on. There was like house music, there was rap, hip hop actually we called it back then. There was new wave, the British invasion coming through. There was, the metal music was still out there fighting the disco movement. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So everything was coming together. So I got more into the dance area when I used to go to like the Kips Bay Boys Club in the Bronx, and Louis Vega would be mixing. You know what I mean? And he played like for the crowd. So he played some hip hop. He played some freestyle, and he also, at the end of the night, would play like some James Brown beats or expansions. You know what I mean? Things that were like different that I wasn't used to hearing. That kind of were mind blowing. But then when I got back home, I started getting records at that point, and listened to the radio a lot, see what was going on. You see these bits and pieces records that had like breaks from some of these records that Louis was playing. So that kind of opened up the whole world and connected what was happening in the current music with the dance, with the direction we were going from there. And then one day I was just listening to a mix. It was like, it must have been Chet Pettibone or a Tony Humphries mix way back in the day. It was like a mix of Set Fire to Me, Willie Colon version, the dub version with Colonel Abrams' Music is the Answer. It's the first time I ever really heard a long blend. So it kind of had me mesmerized, and it kind of made me want to, it just kind of took hold of me. It was like a transformational moment for me in terms of pursuing house.
Wow.
Then I started working in the Village in a record store called Disco Rama. So I was in the basement, on West 4th Street. And they had a location on Union Square as well. And I would just like play the records, keep downstairs clean, try to sell records to people. And it was at a time when like 86, when the Chicago house tracks, it was like 1,000 of them coming out at the time.
DJ International.
So I really took hold of that, and then the Detroit techno movement, and then like the Todd Terry, hip house type heartbeat movement, the Doug Lazy's type thing, and
oh wow.
And then from there it got more and more deep. the more I listen to. I look for deeper stuff and not just the shallow stuff.
Got you.
And the deep stuff always connected back to the original stuff to me. The first stuff from the 70s, 80s influence. That funky bass line and the soulful type
Wow. Well,
vibe that was.
what's interesting, too, along the way is the new wave and the freestyle. In addition to that, because personally, I, along with a buddy of mine, Henry, played a lot of clubs in places that the people didn't really look like us, and we played a lot of new wave, and we played a lot of freestyle. So it's interesting that you would say that, you know that stuff. That's interesting, because I would say in general, most black guys played in black clubs, and we were two brothers playing in mostly white clubs, and Latin and Italian, with the freestyle. So it's pretty interesting. Wow. Now,
here the B-52s, Mesopotamia.
Sure, cool, Mesopotamia.
White Horse by Laid Back, and a bunch of other things,
Sure, I played all.
It's from the area, yeah. And there's other B-52 stuff I love too,
Yeah, sure, they did.
But it's a little bit more edgy.
Rock Lobster and all that stuff like that.
Rock Lobster.
Yeah, I played all that. It's crazy. It's just interesting. But what's pretty interesting though, John, is that people who love and play house have backgrounds that are not necessarily house. I see hip hop. Hip hop is a staple with people who are into the play house now. That's a staple. And then every once in a while, I hear somebody mention some like new wave or freestyle. So it's every once in a while, but that's pretty interesting. We all like come from somewhere, if you follow what I'm saying. Now, question. So, like, what made you decide to become a club owner? Because wait a minute. Let's say you start out as a listener, you like it. Then you say, okay, I like this. And then maybe you start dancing. Then you say, well, wait a minute, I want to DJ. And some DJs go to producing, and then some become promoters here. But it's rare that they become a club owner. So, tell us about that progression and what made you decide to become a club owner as opposed to one of the other parts of the whole scene here.
Well, I guess, when I went to the nightclubs, like in the 80s and 90s, I was like, I want to own a club.
Okay.
Right? I'd love to do this. This is the best thing in the world you could do. Making people happy and, being a great host and having a great vibe that people, they really relish. But when I opened up the Coffee Cave, I wasn't trying to be a club owner. I was trying to be a cafe.
Okay.
But I guess my desire to be a club owner took over. Like, let's say if you wanted to open a beauty salon, but you really wanted to open a club, that beauty salon would probably become nightclub, in 5 years. So that's the direction the Coffee Cave took. I had the opportunity to do the arts real heavy. So I did a lot of poetry at first, and I did open mics. Then, I think I would say there was a couple of parties that really said, hey, I could do that here. One of them was, I think, Errol Claxton's birthday party.
Okay.
I think it was a birthday party, but that's before the Coffee Cave. I don't know if you know about the Coffee Cave. It's like a row house, about 50 feet long, and there's a 50-foot backyard, right? Okay. So Errol had that event in the backyard, but he did it up like we were like on a movie set. So I said, wow, this is extravagant.
Wow.
And then the sound that came in, I was like, wow, you can have the sound in Newark? Because when I was in New York, I didn't hear one person play a house tune on the radio for like 10 years. And then when I came to Newark, the first day, somebody's going down Broad Street thumping house tunes. I said, what's going on here? This is different. And that was in 2008, you know what I mean? Which was like, I love this, I want to do something here. There's a community here. So Errol set it up with that party. And then maybe a month later, I think, T. Mallory had his Ascension party there. And that set it off. It was in the backyard as well. And I was like, I'm just trying to sell some panini sandwiches and some coffee. And please don't come in with outside food. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
know I don't have chicken wings, but please try to eat off my menu.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that's
they came
interesting.
in droves. And it's kind of like historic because the videos are still rocking and populating, and sometimes people showcase them on the book right now, as wow, this is a great time. People have stories about how Coffee Cave changed their life and how it, brought them through tough places, and it was a consistent meeting place for them to come and, commune with other like-minded people who are doing positive things. One thing at the Coffee Cave, I had a rule because I had all types of parties besides house. What I did was when I promoted, I kept everybody in their own separate compartments. So it
Okay.
could be like the house community knew it was exclusive for them. The poets knew it was exclusive for them. You know what I mean? So I kept everything separate. But
Gotcha.
occasionally I had a party with just like young people. And I said, look, I have a no Beyonce rule here.
Okay.
Not saying you can't play Beyonce, but I don't want no pop stuff here. It's got to be underground. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be new music or underground music or something that's artistically influenced. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, I do.
So people looked at me like I was crazy. No Beyonce rule, but they
Wow.
came to understand what I meant the more that they experienced and spent time, doing things with me.
But now, John, though, a lot of people open up clubs. A lot of people have what I'm calling one-night stands, and they don't make it. So, I mean, what's the secret sauce? I mean, why was the coffee? I mean, look, so I'm from Patterson. So, and I pretty much was in the Patterson scene. And when I started doing the show about 8 years ago, that's when I started to hear about the Coffee Cave and stuff like that. So, like, what's the secret sauce to making something like that work? I mean, because a lot of people start, but they don't really finish.
Well, to me, there was two facets.
Okay.
One of them is I had a business, and I didn't want to not have a business. So there was a survival aspect.
Okay.
But the two facets was one, always being attentive to whatever the dancers wanted in the case of house music. So that meant making changes on the fly. You know what I mean? If it's too hot, I make a hole in the roof. Once we extended the backyard, and I put a couple of exhaust fans and some fans hanging, and I run ductwork back there. Okay? If they say they can't dance on the cobblestone, go down the dance floor. If it doesn't sound right, get somebody to help me with the sound or get some new sound, whatever it takes. Be humble, be attentive, and always listen to what the guests want. In addition, is showing loyalty to them that they were showing to me. You know what I mean? If somebody, like we had events, like house music events 3 to 4 times a week. We had Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes 4 or 5 days a week. So to me, it was very important to, if they're going to come out and quite often pay, it wasn't much then, $5, $10 to get in. I got to be loyal in return and give them what they need as like, acknowledging their, the way that they've been faithful to me in terms of the club.
Wow.
On the other facet is, you mentioned the question was about, the original question was about how that worked.
Yeah, the secret
I have to get back
sauce.
to you on that. Secret sauce. Okay. There's something else, but I'll get back to that. So you can ask me the next question, and if I can,
Okay.
I'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, where do you see house music going as a person who's been a participant and made that happen versus an outsider spectator? Where's this thing going from your perspective?
I think it's gone. It's transformed from a group of pioneers and teachers who pass the baton on to networks, and it's growing like a tree. You know what I mean? They started off with the roots, and now the tree is branching off to so many different directions. And I'm not talking about types of house. I'm talking about our soulful house.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about that. And can you go a little deeper with that? Because it's pretty interesting that you said that. Because you know what? I consider soulful house the original house music. And then everything kind of went from there. So I mean, go a little deeper for us on that, where it's branching out and et cetera, network. Go a little deeper.
Yeah. Well, I think there's different types of soulful house. I think there's New Jersey soulful house, which is traditional that we know, and the blazes. You know? And I think that besides that, there's music that's soulful, that's house, that's not labeled soulful house. Like even the South African movement with Black Coffee is so dope. It's electronic, it's techie, but it's also soulful, or else we wouldn't have clung to it the way we did. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do get it.
So I think that there's so many soulful directions that house can go besides the traditional look. That, you know, that's what I mean by that.
Okay. And what do you think about, like, when people say, you know, we have to bring younger people into that? Do you subscribe to that? Or do you think every generation has their own music? Or, I mean, for example, the other night, you know, I'm flipping through the channels, and I listen to all kinds of music. And I just happened to catch a 50s and 60s thing when they had, like, the Platters and stuff like that. But I looked at that audience, and they were all gray hairs. So my question to you, can we bring younger people in? Will younger people do it? Or they say, no, that's your music, and this is our music. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm 100% banking on that. The young people movement, actually. Okay. That's the direction I'm going, not all the time, but on occasion. First of all, speaking of the young people, you got to give out big shout outs to what, you know, Denzel Boyd and Just the DJ and others in the soulful house world have been doing. They've been killing it. In addition, there's a little bit, there's a whole different group of people right here in Newark that have been influenced by what their parents listened to, which was soulful house music, but are more tech savvy. So they're trying to take that reign, and they're doing it in a different direction that we would be used to as critical house music listeners. You know what I mean? We may say it's not soulful enough, but it's soulful enough for them to get out of their soul when they're dancing. So is their music for them. You know what I mean? So based on their influences in life, it's perfect for them. So one initiative that I've been doing is we've been working with a great group called House the Gap. Okay.
What is that?
House the Gap is a group of young DJs, promoters, 25 to 30 years old for the most part, who've been influenced by the greats, you know? They've worked with, like the guy I deal with, his name Nate, he's worked and studied under hippies, and his resident DJ for his parties is Tony Humphries when he does it on occasion. And he's worked with Mark Francis before. So I'm collaborating with House the Gap for our next event, July 27th. It's not affiliated at all with Lincoln Park Music Festival, but it's the same day as the Lincoln Park Music Festival. And a lot of people call that suicide, but I called it just an opportunity because it's happening right across the street from Lincoln Park in Symphony Hall. So, you know, nothing's guaranteed in life, but I think that with the lineup we have, with Coffee Cave, House the Gap, another great group called Vibes After Dark, which is also the youth group, with our veteran DJs of Tony Humphries, Merlin Bob, T. Mallory, and one of House the Gap's younger DJs, Lokai. It's going to be like a juxtaposition, and it's going to be really putting your money where your mouth is in terms of bringing the youth into the house. So that's what I'm really trying to get off and see how it works. It's an experiment, but you know, they're young enough to go out in the park with couple of thousand flyers to hand it to everybody in the park too. So that could help too. You know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
They got the energy.
Yeah. Well, I've heard, and again, as a person who's been in the making it happen side, I've heard a lot, people say is that one of the big things that younger DJs have to do, this is a two-part question, is they have to bring their contemporaries in to be able to make this thing go. Because, a matter of fact, on Saturday I was having a conversation, and they said, well, that if you look at the age range now, it's 50 plus, and 10 years from now, they're going to be walking on canes and crutches and stuff like that. So, like, let's say if you take like a Just or a Mir or any of these guys, they'll be maybe in their 20s or 30s, and the audience that they're playing for now will be in their 60s, 70s, 80s. So, the idea, the conversation was around, can they bring their peers in? And what are your thoughts on that? And then let's go back to what you just said too. This is the second part of it. Like we say we want younger people, but are we interested in listening to their interpretation of the music? Especially, hey, they start out with what we're doing, so to speak. But at some point they say, well, wait a minute. What if I did this? What if I did that? And it becomes a thing. I mean, so I don't know. What are your thoughts about that stuff? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that some of the DJs who are rocking it now, the young DJs who are rocking it now in our world, can bring in some younger heads. But I think the best way to do that would be to do it through networking events with a little bit younger demographic too, to help build their base within that group. They do it a little different. Like when we do our parties, people love to hear one DJ for 6 hours, two DJs for 3 hours at a time. But for the young jocks, they'll throw 8 DJs, 45 minutes, and give them a taste of each DJ. So it's a different type of mashup. So I think that if maybe some of the young Soulful House DJs would sometimes network at a party like that, it wouldn't hurt their authenticity at all because they've already established themselves at what they're doing with older heads. But that can help them to network with the younger agents so that they can gain and garner that support going forward.
Yeah, because I got to tell you, that's going to be key. I mean, again, I mean, you kind of like, I'm going to say that for the most part, maybe you age out. And an example of that is that, let's say if you knew about the stylistics from back in the day. Of course, us young cats, we only know that from research. We don't, anyway.
Only research.
Research, right? It's all research. But if you hear it, they're still doing shows and stuff like that, but they're not on the radio like that anymore. If you go back, even like cats like, to me, one of the most underrated DJs, and if you listen, his flow was out. You could hear it in Naughty by Nature. You could hear it in Eminem, Big Daddy Kane. Now, I'll tell you what. I'll bet you if the people who really have the spotlight now would have put him on, that they would not leave him behind, or KRS-One. So it seems like at some point they age out, so to speak. I mean,
Yeah.
Have you seen that? And
Unless you're LL Cool J, he lasts forever.
yeah, and then there's only these certain ones that can, but for the most part, they age out, and so to speak. And and I guess too, and then here's a conversation. I've had this conversation with Charles Dixon 100 times, if it wasn't one time. He says you got to bring younger people in as the artists also. He says, because if you think about it, young cats are not going to have a picture of grandma on the wall, on the poster. Yeah. So those are some things anyway.
Yeah.
How about this? Some of the DJs that you've worked with over the years, name some of the DJs and.
it's too many to mention. I don't want to offend anybody that I miss, but I'll just go through some of the residents that were rocking at the peak of Coffee Cave. And if I miss somebody, it's not by, it's just because, I'm still recovering from baby brain, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So there's T. Mallory, Joey Mazza, Lou Gorbea,
Okay.
Darnell, Kindred Spirits,
Wow.
Will Milton,
Okay. Wow.
Ian Friday. And these are residents who had like monthly parties at some point.
Got you.
We had T. Wise, along
Right.
with Mike Strick and
Yeah.
Sadat. They did their party there for a bit.
Floor work.
Yep.
Wow.
Rashim Ahmed.
Yep.
Some of the guest DJs, I'm sure I forgot a whole bunch of residents, but some of the guest DJs were Anane. She did her first Jersey thing there.
Right.
Master Kev. Marshall Jefferson.
Wow.
I mean, I forgot so many people.
Yeah, that's
Everybody's
okay.
gonna like.
That's okay. It's okay. Well, as the saying goes, they charge it to
Jelly
your head.
Bean,
Okay.
Ruben Toro. Stan Zaff. Anyway, we had great performers. Coffee, the Flowtress, Bucci,
Okay. From
Superman.
Superman.
Of course, Vanessa.
Okay.
And so many others.
Yes.
One
Well.
time I did it was like 300 performers between DJs and acts, performing artists that I came up with. So I know I must have left out about 275.
That's all right. They'll charge it to your head and not to your heart. How about that? That's the old saying. Wow. Hey, and then too, I remember when I was there, I went to an event.
I gotta say one more. I forgot.
Okay.
Jahai Muhammad, of course.
That's what I was going to say.
They came after me if I didn't.
Yeah, that night you had Louis Vega. You also had Dion Cole.
Cole.
Yeah. So you had
Ancelade.
Ancelade. Yeah, Beloved. Yeah. So you got your list. So. Okay. Let me just divert for a minute. But like you're thinking big. You're thinking big. I mean, and like it's not no disrespect, to local Louis. No real person just made that name up, or Billy Bob. But I mean, you're thinking big here. How big do you want to take this thing?
You know what? I just want to see how far I can go. I got to balance my life. I got I got a family. If people support me, I'll grow as far as I can. I'll use my imagination, come up with ideas, tap into the team I've developed around me, and other people want to be giving me great ideas and incorporate what they're doing, what I'm doing. That's great. But I think I just kind of do my best to kind of stay in my mind, not my lane, and do what I'm inspired to do. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Something that's going to challenge me. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel like that. How far could it take me? How far do I want to take it? I'd love to do the first house party on the moon if I could. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, listen, you gonna sell merch?
Yep. And you don't have to worry about the wood floor or concrete floor. Nice and easy on your knees. No problem. No matter how old you are.
That's right. Float like a butterfly. Anyway. That's all right.
You want to sell merch? You need to sell merch. wonder if that U.S. flag is really there in that.
Yeah, you can. Oh my goodness! I just want to give a few shout outs. Linda Mendez from Pittsburgh, how you doing? Delmar Brown, what's up? Always good thoughts. Always got insight. Hey, all right. Delia, what's up? Hey, it was great seeing you on Saturday. Okay. Anyway, now I know you got some stuff coming up. Now, what can you share with us that you have coming up?
Okay, I got 3 things.
Okay.
One is Boiling. That's July 27th. That's Newark Symphony Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Humphries coming back to Newark with Merlin Bob, President Merlin, right?
Okay.
And T. Mallory, the first resident at Coffee Cave.
Okay.
And also a resident of the old Black Box, which I have never been to, but I know him and Naeem are historic for that place, along with countless other names. A few other names, I'm not too familiar with them. I'm sure you know them more than me.
Okay.
And their opening DJ is going to be DJ Lokai.
Okay.
L-O-K. I'm not too familiar with him, with her, but it should be a great event, and it's going to be a crazy event, juxtaposed with the Lincoln Park Music Festival going on across the street, and we are in no way affiliated with that at all, but just the fact that the presence of that is there, and then we have Morehouse right across the street. I think it's going to be a historical night, in the city of Newark for house music. Tony Humphries is coming back,
Right.
in Symphony Hall.
Wow.
I'm gonna drop some videos of how it looked when Timmy was playing at the anniversary. The place was packed from the front to the back. It looked amazing. So I definitely think that everybody wants to be a part of that energy and partake in that spirit and just rock out with us.
Wow. Now you said you had 3 events. Can you share the other 2 that are coming?
The second one is a rescheduling of House of Gaiden, which is DJ Tony Touch, Nane Vega, Just the DJ, and DJ Sound Pilot.
Okay.
That's going to be September 21st.
Okay. So make sure you...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, make sure you hit me up with the flyers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead. And then you said the third one?
The third one is kind of like a residency I'm working on.
Okay. Okay.
And this is not in Jersey. This is in BK.
Okay.
So
okay.
We'll do something weekly. Should be starting in October if everything lines up right. So that's one that's cooking right now. That's not boiling yet. That's cooking.
Okay. Okay, it's in simmer mode. I got you. Hey,
I got other ideas, but I gotta slow down a little bit too. You know what I mean? I'm going too fast.
You said something like very, very interesting. And it's along the lines of balance. You have a family, you have kids and stuff like that. And, these things can be all-consuming if you let it. Also, too, I don't know if you have any other business that you're in, whatever, but just trying to put all that together, it takes a lot of understanding people around you, number one, because, if you think about it, and then I'm going somewhere with hit my question, and like this is not a 9 to 5 type business, where, you get up in the morning, take your lunch pail or whatever, and you get to work at 9, and you leave at 5, when this business may not even start till 5, and go till 5 in the morning. How do you balance that? I mean, and the reason I'm asking this question, for me too, because my wife's like, another house event? Oh,
yeah. What time are you going to be home?
Yeah, that's right. Again? Yes, sweetie. Listen, when you married me, if you look in the contract, that was in the... Anyway. So, I mean, how do you balance all that? I mean, it's a lot. I mean, putting on these major events, you're dealing with major personalities, you're dealing with major venues, I mean, it's a lot. Then you're a family man, I mean, how do you make all that work, Just had to ask you that. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm glad you asked me. It gave me an opportunity to talk about some of the people I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that I can, like at the Coffee Cave, I had nothing but time. I could just 24/7 devote to Coffee Cave.
Mm-hmm.
I was open like 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week for like 8 years straight. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't take vacations. I tried to open up on Thanksgiving and sell jerk barbecue turkey. No, I actually tried to give away barbecue turkey. I just wanted people to come experience the vibe. But now I realize I can't do this alone. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to try. So I'm out for support. And if I can't get the support, I know I got to shut it down and not do it. So that's why when you take a look at what I've been doing is I've been co-branding what I'm doing. It's not just Coffee Cave. It's like Coffee Cave and, for example, big shout out to Jihad because when I came back, he was like so enthusiastic about the Coffee Cave reunion. He co-branded it with me in Symphony Hall. And when Jihad gets involved, it makes your party a layup because he's got the press and he knows how to bring people together and everybody knows he's going to give you a great quality and great consistent experience every time out. I did a party with Tamir Family Soul. That was the Dion Cole party. You know what I mean? Because I knew he was going to bring that soulful element that was needed for that type of party. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I do those parties, I like to sit in the back a little bit, let them, run with their brand as much as they want to. In my mind, I don't sometimes care if I have anything on the flyer except a little logo on the bottom. I just kind of want to have a successful party. I don't need to take all the credit for it. I love to share the credit. And I just want people that I work with to understand that. It's not like I'm trying to outbrand you. I want to kind of sit in the background wherever possible. So I do a big thing. One thing I do is kind of promote the other person I'm branding it with. Now I got my close-knit team around me also that gives me some good advice. And sometimes they play devil's advocate. Sometimes they're wrong. A couple times I'm wrong. Most of the time they're wrong. I'm joking. But like for example, there's Robert Andrews. He's my sound guy. He did a great job. He helped me put together this monster system that I picked up, and that thing thumps. Right. Then there's Paula Slade. She does catering for me, and she also gives me like great insight to her experience in the house music world because she's been dancing forever and she's been supporting all the parties and the DJs. There's Kiata. Johnny Dangerous and Kiata are our wicked team, a wicked, powerful house team. And Johnny's going to be doing the Mulberry Commons after party this Wednesday. So definitely go check that out. And she's got great resources as well. But I just want the thing is, I know I can't do it all by myself now. Right. So if it ever gets to a juncture where I got to do it by myself, at this point, I'll slow the roll big time. You know what I mean? Right. Because I know I can't keep it up without taking away from my family too much.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if people if they see the vision and they want to give me the energy by when I'm enthusiastic about an idea coming on board with me and let's do it, then because I know that they'll take some of the lift off of me. So they'll help me lift. Right. That's how I keep that going.
That's powerful.
And at home, I need the wife support. And, I know I put them through a lot. The kids. Yeah. I got to make sure the kids are taken care of, and they're right. So all that's got to be in place.
Well, Anane, how you doing? She's joined us. How you doing?
Hey, Anane, how are you?
Now, I want to ask you, do you have any desire to produce music at all, or have you done that?
I've done it for fun, but nothing. I don't desire to do that going forward. I have too many dishes in the oven right now.
Yeah. You know what I find too, that like any aspect of this house music thing could be all consuming. It could be a full-time, whatever. If you decide to produce, it could eat up your whole life. I don't mean that in a negative way. If you decide to DJ, it can be your whole life. Now, now you got to give credit to the people who DJ and produce. Or if you look at it, Jihad, he DJs, produces, and puts on events. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It could be overwhelming.
Yes, that's a lot. You know, and what's interesting, but it's interesting that when this happens and it all comes together.
I think you got to structure it as an empire where you have your brand, and then you have people who have arms, like you have your sound company, you have your production company, you have your DJ company, of people who are, you know, it's a symbiotic relationship where your brand is them, but they're still building their own brand too. You know what I mean? And they're working through you to help lift their brand too. So that's the way I think that could be done without you being overexposed and doing too much.
Wow, that's great advice. You know, again, because you know, for me, I do three things. I own a real estate company, which is quote unquote as my wife likes to say, your real money. Then, you know, I do a lot of parties, you know, with DJing and stuff, like a lot of parties. And then also I do volunteer work. I do volunteer work with Rotary and our local chamber. So those are things that keep me really, really busy. And then I'm a husband, a father, and Big Papa, you know, so it's a lot to keep it. So when you were saying this, I was like, okay, I'm like not only asking the question, but I'm listening too. Anyway, so listen, we're kind of down to the wire here, and just want to know if you had any final thoughts or any highlights. And I also, again, want you to recap events you have coming on and how people can reach you, support you.
Sure. My highlight is everybody who I've worked with to build positive energy in the industry, from the coffee cave to today. I hope people look at me and view me as something positive in what we're trying to do. I think everybody has their own vision, their own thought of what they interpret a perfect house event to be. And I think that's fair, and everybody should be able to be comfortable with that and try to experience what other people feel is the interpretation of house based on their life's experiences. That's what makes it interesting and different. Every time you go out, you hear different DJs playing different music. You have different types of venues, some of them grungy, some of them beautiful, you know. Just, it keeps life interesting. You don't want to be just stuck in a religion of house where you just do the same thing over and over, and it's just what makes you feel comfortable. I think it's important to be able to step out of our comfort zone and to, with an open mind, take on other positive energies to make our positive energy stronger.
You know, along those lines, just one other thought. You mentioned grungy and some places are elegant. Is there a right place for house music to be played? Is it grungy? Is it elegant? Is it in between? It all depends. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it all depends. I'm grungy as F.
Okay.
If you look at the Coffee Cave, it was a grungy spot.
Okay.
But at the same time, you know, I'm not Gucci clean, like, you know, like Naeem's birthday party was. But I am clean in order, but not Gucci clean. I'm grungy clean.
Okay.
I like to be organized. I like everything to fall in line the way it should be. And I like everybody to have a dope experience with, you know, the least negative feedback and buzz as possible.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that.
There's no perfect venue.
Right.
anymore because the finances won't allow for that at this point in our community. But the way it's growing and the way people are thinking bigger, that could happen again really soon.
Hey, listen, I got you here. I got you here and I got more questions. Listen, this is like you've been having challenges with your Apple phone or whatever, and you've been living and working around, and finally it gets to the point you can't do anything. You go into the Apple store, and whoever that person is, you're gonna have every conversation, you're gonna unload on. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to let you go, but I can't because I got more questions keep popping in my head. but okay, so watch this. So you mentioned not Gucci. So I say my wife is Gucci clean. I'm Sears clean. So she drives a Mercedes. I drive a Caravan. You know what I'm trying to say, and I'm good. But now. So we got a lot of events coming up, and the reason I'm asking that, we have indoor, outdoor events. Where do the outdoor events come into play? Because they are not paid events, and is it hard to make that transition from outdoors to indoors with a paying? What's your take on that? And then I think I'll let you go after that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, indoor events are basically kind of traditional, but so are outdoor events. Like when I was growing up, I mentioned that you walk around the neighborhood in the BX, and there's people plugged into the street lights in the schoolyards. So those were outdoor events. There's nothing wrong with an outdoor event. It wasn't just house music, but it was like the origins of our culture, at that point. Today, in the parks, I think that, is basically dope because you get to experience a lot of DJs and a lot of in a lot of different areas. So it exposes house music more, throughout the state, especially in New Jersey. It's definitely a factor of COVID and the COVID money that came in, and the governments wanted to kind of let's get the people out there dancing again safely in the outdoors. That's a great thing.
Wow.
And that is so successful. I think the money's going to keep coming. How does that conflict with indoor events? I don't think that just because there's dope outdoor events in the summer doesn't mean there can't be dope indoor events in the summer as well. You just got to be a little more strategic on how you plan that. And don't do it in the beginning of the summer, I won't think, because people are so excited in the beginning of the summer about the outdoor events. But maybe as the season turns on towards end of July and August, people may have had. I've been to a lot of outdoor events. Give them a great indoor option too, here and there. But you got to do it strategically because there's, like I said, lots of people are going in the outdoors right now. That's where people are getting some of the dancers are getting so used to that culture where, it could be challenging to have an indoor event.
Right.
So it's really like, as you can tell, I'm ambiguous about the topic, and I'm not too sure yet. I don't have it's still an experiment waiting to happen. How things do. So I think that July 27th in Symphony Hall is a big test for me personally. To see how that goes with Lincoln Park being right across the street. Right.
All right. Well, listen. As I say, I shot my load.
It's fine. I hope you didn't hear my brain working too much.
No, this was good. This was good.
Okay.
And just for the folks who are on the live here, it's on Facebook, but it's on Twitch. Well, X. It's on Vimeo. It's on, Twitch, X. It's on the website, so it'll show up in a lot of different places. And hey, one last thing. Hey, Reese, what's up? Flying high. Thanks for joining us. Monique, thanks for joining us. Hey, John, how you doing? If people want to follow you, keep up with you, support you, how do they do it?
Well, you can hit me on, let's see, I'm on, what's it called, Instagram? Yeah, Instagram at Black Box Newark, but it's spelled BLKBOXNWK. And that's also a community venue that I operate in Newark on Clinton Avenue. So we do a lot of nonprofit stuff, a lot of arts events, poetry, and occasional house party there too.
All right.
You can also catch me on Facebook under Coffee Cave. I think it's Coffee Cave House Music as a group. And my Facebook name is John Murray. You could request me as a friend there. I still have a lot of friends left to add because I got deleted off of Facebook in the last year. So I'm still trying to get my fans back up, my family back up on that. So.
Yeah, I had that happen. Somebody hacked my account. They were sending out all kinds of interesting things. The next thing I know, done, finished.
Done.
So, hey,
and
John.
no way to fight back.
Yeah, right. You can't get anybody on the phone. You can't say it wasn't you. It wasn't Ghost Shaggy. It wasn't me. Nothing works with them.
It's scary.
Hey, John, thanks again so much for joining us. I mean, this is like a real pleasure for me. I've been hearing about you for years and years. And the Coffee Cave and this and that. And, most of the guests that I have on here were familiar with it. And then when I finally ran into you, I said, I gotta get him. So, hey, thank you so much for, spending time with us. All right.
Big shout out to you.
Okay.
Big shout out to Patterson.
All right now.
DJ Antonio Garcia. Peace.
Absolutely. You're going to see Patterson's going to pop again. We were known for the Cheetah Club. Yeah. That's just the beginning. That's just part one.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Hey, we're going to go into Shazam Free Zone. And on the Shazam Free Zone, for those of you who know, we only play brand new music. We don't play any repeats. We don't play anything that's been out for a while. So we're going to go in, we're going to do a segment there. We're going to start off, we're going to lead off with Aaron K. Gray's track that he did with Jihad Muhammad called Never Would Have Made It. So, Chuck, when you start, I'll come on in there and finish up the set. John, thanks again. You're welcome to hang out. If you got to go, no problem. Thanks again. All right.